Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. My name is Rhonda. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you all could be here. Feel free to join the live. Let's get to know each other, share a little bit about our hobby and about ourselves if you feel free to. As always, I'm open to suggestions. Lighting, is the music too loud? By all means, let me know. So last week I talked a little bit about soft pastel backgrounds. And backgrounds used to be my arch nemesis because if you do backgrounds with colored pencils, it takes a long time. And using the same color over a large area for a long period of time, to me, it gets boring. And if you want the background to look nice and you're doing it with pencil, the way to do it is little round circles the whole way across the page, very lightly. And then go across the page in little circles again, very lightly. And again, and again. It takes forever. If to make it look nice with pencil, it really takes forever. So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures that I have that I did the backgrounds with soft pastels. And let me tell you, soft pastels are a game changer for backgrounds. So we may have a visitor here. My cats are getting curious. So I bought this set of books on Amazon. And the thing that I found attractive about them, besides the front covers, is the fact that they're all spiral bound. And that is makes for some very nice coloring, I think. You don't have the hump here in the middle. You know, when you're coloring and you're trying to get over that hump that's at the crease, you don't have that with the spiral bound book. And also the pages lay nice and flat. You don't have to like press down while you're coloring. So spiral bound books are pretty nice. So this 3-book set I got on Amazon, and I forget how much it was, but it wasn't nice, or it wasn't much. And I do like to give credit where it's due, but I don't see any artist names on any of these books. So we have Fantasy Homes, Whimsical Universe, and Flower World. I haven't done much in these. I haven't had them for very long. So I'll just do a quick flip through here. My camera seems to be blurry. That's something I'm going to have to figure out. Show you some of these pictures. If I lower the camera, that might help. I'm learning. Be patient with me. This is the flower one. Mushroom cottages are some of my favorite things. I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying. Bear with me. Okay. See, so these are really nice, whimsical little pictures. Cheap books, but a lot of fun. The paper in them, I have to say, is nice and thick also. So if you wanted to use markers or acrylics or paints or anything, watercolors, these books would be pretty nice for that, I believe. Not that I would know because I'm a pencil lady. But let me show you some of these soft pastel backgrounds that I did. And then I'll show you how I do it too. Might be something you'd be interested in. I love soft pastel to do backgrounds. There. Cute little picture of a deer with some mushrooms. But the background, that would have taken me a very long time to do with pencils. So I did it with soft pastel. And I really like the way that looks. It's like a cloudy kind of look. Then I have Sarah Renee Clark's book, Vibrant Wilds. This is the only hardback book that I own. And I was so tickled when she came out with this. I just had to get it. It's probably the nicest quality coloring book that I have. I ordered it right from the artist's website. It's thread bound. It's not glue. It's actually thread bound. But there are a lot of really nice pictures in here. And here is my soft pastel background on this. Now, on this one, I used 2 different colors and tried my hand at blending. And I think it turned out not too bad. I used a purple and then I used sort of an orange, as you can see, in different places to highlight it. So that's that one. And one more. I have the Cottage Core Coloring Book. Now, Ollie's. I have to give Ollie's a shout. Do you see the price on there? $3.99. The publisher's price, I don't know if you can see that or not. My camera's very blurry. Anyway, it's $10.99. So these books are really nice. And I'll flip through a little bit here and show you. There's another picture that I colored in here. But there's really some very nice pictures in these books. Again, there's no artist listed. I wish I could give somebody credit for these pictures because they're pretty nice, but there's no artist listed. Now let me show you my soft pastel background. There I used a yellow. Can you see it? So, soft pastels. Love them, love them, love them for a background. Now, one thing I have heard is that your color from the soft pastel, because it's like a chalk. So one thing that I have heard is that your color would rub off onto the next page. So I got into the habit of taking a piece of cut brown paper bag and putting in between Although, in all honesty, I have not found that to be true. I've not had an issue with the color rubbing off. Maybe it's because other people use more of it than I do. I just use a soft layer of dust and smear it over the page. So, a lot of people will use a fixative. I like to stay away from using anything harmful like that. So I don't use fixative, but some people like to use it. And if you do use it, I would recommend going outside on a non windy day and using it that way. So, anyway, that's how I do my backgrounds now with soft pastel. Now, I'm going to show you how I do this. This is my box of soft pastels, and they look like chalk. This is what they look like. Box cutter knife. So let me see. Since I like purple so much, I'm going to take a purple one here. And what I do is, don't tell my boss I'm using this knife without gloves. He would not be happy about that. So what I do is I take the box cutter knife and shave soft pastel powder onto the paper. Do you see how it makes like a powder? I have seen some artists use moshi tape, I guess they call it, and tape over top of the picture that they're coloring so that the soft pastel doesn't get onto their picture, like over top of what they've already colored. But I didn't do that. I was just careful about where I moved it around on the paper so that it wouldn't go where it wasn't supposed to go. Now, what I normally do is take my finger or a couple of fingers and just kind of smear it around. But I don't want to have to interrupt the stream here to go out to the sink and wash my hands. So, what I'm going to do today, and in my opinion, this doesn't work very well, but some people do it this way all the time. Or some people use the soft pastel stick directly on the paper. To me, that's too intense. It's too much color, and it's hard to get it. For me, it's hard to get it to look nice because they're just not the easiest thing to use if you use them like that, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the Q-tip and show you how. You see how easy it would be to create the background. It's so much easier to just use your finger. I think it is anyway. But you get the idea. Now this is looking very streaked. If you use your fingers to do it, the oils in your skin tend to give it more justice. So anyway, that gives you the idea how it works. So yeah, that's my little tip for you today. I hope somebody finds that useful or at least interesting. And that's my little lesson on soft pastels. I got these on Amazon, by the way. But I'm sure you can get them at any arts and crafts store. So there's that. Now I'll show you what I was working on earlier today is my double page spread Christmas picture that I started a few weeks ago. And when a picture is this big, I'll kind of work on it for a while and then put it away for a little bit and then go back to it. So I don't know how long it'll take me to get this all finished, but I'm just coloring like a second grader on here. I'm not doing a lot of shading or blending or anything like that. I may as I go along, but I'm just having fun doing what I'm doing with it. So that's what I had been working on earlier today. And I'll probably work on it a little bit later today too. Now, what we were working on last week is the mushroom fairy picture. From Eileen Vick's book, Fairies and Mushrooms Jubilee. I was using my Woomer pencils, and I love these pencils. Now I'll show you another little trick that I taught myself. When I'm working on a picture and I need to put things away until I can come back to it, do you see how some of these pencils are upside down to the rest of them? That's how I remember which colors I was using, which brown, which pinks. So that when I go back to my picture, I can remember which ones I was using. So that might be helpful to somebody. This is a 72 set of pencils. So if you're using, that would come in especially helpful if you're using like a 180 set of pencils or, where there's a lot of different colors. It helps you to remember what you're using and what you didn't. Now, a nice thing about this case that I really like is if you have a 72 set of pencils, you see that? That one can go in the lid, and then you can just lift the whole works up. You probably also notice that there's a pencil missing right here. That's because I used that pencil to mark the page that we were working on. And if you remember, the name of this pencil is Hooker's Green. I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to set my pencils over here. Now let me know if the music's too loud or if the lighting's not right. So let us continue. too bright. There we go. So how is everyone doing? Did you have a nice weekend? Does anybody care to chat? Is anybody listening or watching? I think I'll go down here with this. There we are. Eileen Vick has a lot of really nice books. And I enjoy her books a lot because they're all grayscale. And for somebody who is just a hobbyist at coloring like me, that's very helpful because your shading is already done for you. Now, she has a YouTube channel too, and I would recommend that you go check her channel out. When she colors these pictures, she will use 3 of each color. She'll take for example, red. If she had done this mushroom cap, she would have chosen a dark red, a medium red, and a light red. And she would have gone into the darker areas with the dark red. And then used a medium red to highlight certain areas, and then a light red. I'm just a hobbyist. I'm not really doing tutorials or teaching coloring like she does. So I just flat color, but even if you flat color over grayscale, it still is shaded for you. So grayscale is nice that way. I really enjoy grayscale coloring. Let me just show you her books. I swore that I was not going to be buying any more coloring books because if I live to be 100, I won't color half of what I have. But then I came across Eileen Vick's books, and here's a little smattering of all the books that she has. Now, I don't know if you can read that because, again, my camera is rather blurry, but you can see that it's a long list of books. And it's longer now because since I bought the books that I've bought from her, she's come out with even more. So no matter what your interests are, if you like cute animal things, if you like mushrooms, if you like fairies, if you like nature scenes, winter scenes, summer scenes, birds, she's got something for everybody. So look her up on YouTube and also look up her books on Amazon. She broadcasts live every night now she lives in Tennessee, so I guess she's on Mountain Time. For those of us in Pennsylvania, it would be 8 o'clock. But on her time, it's 7 o'clock. So you would have to check the time zone. But she's live every evening, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's a nice bunch of people that meet there. I wish I could be there more often, but since I'm getting up so early for work now, it's kind of ruined me for late nights. I pop in from time to time, but usually about 9 o'clock, I'm yawning and ready to go to bed anymore. Let's try a different green now. Let's do olive green. I might actually do a little something with these leaves. Let me put the first layer down here and see how I'm feeling after that. I might do something a little more creative with these leaves. So, what is everybody coloring today? Or if you're not coloring, maybe you're doing another hobby or a craft. What are you up to today? Now, do you see how I'm doing little circles? And if you're a person that typically is heavy handed while you're coloring, I would recommend doing nice light layers and going over it and over it and over it, because layering light layers a little bit at a time has a really nice effect on your coloring. It gives it a nice blended soft look. And if you're a person who has a habit of being heavy handed, one of the ways that you can work on going lighter is to choke back on your pencil a little bit. That's also helpful in, you know, pencils cost money, right? And I don't like to spend a lot of money if I don't have to. So, what I do, instead of grinding your pencils away on a regular with a pencil sharpener, if you kind of lay them sideways a little bit like this to color and turn them once in a while when you lift them from the page, It actually causes them to sharpen into a point all on their own. And you have to put them in the sharpener and grind valuable pencil away less often. If you're watching the live, say hi in the chat so I know you're here. I'm feeling kind of lonely, guys. I know, it's only my second broadcast. Calm down, Rhonda. Build it and they will come. Who said that? Anybody know? Stephen King? Was it Stephen King? If you're hearing that, that's my cat scratching on her scratching post. So tell me a little bit about your favorite things to color. I like nature and fantasy. They're my favorites, but I enjoy just about anything. I'll do a mandala once in a while. I'll do like the Creative Haven books. That's something else that I really like is the like country gardens and like country charm and small town scenes. I guess you could say I just like just about anything to color. But my favorite is fantasy and nature. I have about 10 or 12 of Eileen Vick's books. Now, since I bought some of hers, I'm done. I'm done buying coloring books. Anything that I could possibly want to color, I can find some pictures of with the coloring book collection that I have. I do not need any more. I'm debating what I want to do with those flowers. I'm not sure what color I want to make those. Put your suggestions in the comments. I'm thinking that I'll give her some eyeshadow. So maybe something in the flowers that complements the eyeshadow color. Very light layers. I just take my time. And enjoy the journey. Just nice little circles. Now you see how one leaf kind of just blends into the other leaf. So I'm going to be fixing that, and I'll show you how, because you don't want it to just look like one big blob. Do y'all like the classical music? I really like it. Hmm. Is that poison ivy? It has 3 leaves. My guess would be that a fairy that lives out in nature around mushrooms and poison ivy and all kinds of other plants probably would have a certain type of immunity to something like that, wouldn't you think? Another nice thing about grayscale is that it's easy to kind of add your own little, this is going to be hard for me to describe, add your own little things to the page, such as do you see down here? I can kind of describe it. Down here, where it's just kind of a shadowy area that just sort of leaves a lot to your imagination. So this is a flower, and back here is a mushroom. But other than that, there's just a lot of area back there where you can really pick and choose what you want to make of that area. And when we get down in there, I'll show you a little bit more about what I mean. I think we'll go there next when I'm done with the leaves on top of the mushroom here. Yeah, we'll go down in there and work on that. And then I'll show you what I mean about that. So, sorry that the light is so bright in certain ways. My old granny eyes sort of need the light. So I'll try to turn it in such a way that it doesn't blind you, but is still helpful to me. If you're watching my live broadcast, if you would kindly give me a like and a subscribe, I would really appreciate that. That'll help push me out to more people. And I'd like to grow my channel. Like to, I'm always interested in making new friends and ones that share our common love for this hobby. In particular. So if you would please, I would really appreciate that. My poor little cat doesn't get any attention, neither one of them do. And so when mommy gets on YouTube and tries to broadcast live, why we have to scratch on the scratching post and scratch on the paper so that everybody knows we're here. Gotta love them. All right. Now I'm going to add something to those leaves. I'm going to take a little bit darker green here. This is juniper green. And I'm going to go in here in certain areas and sort of highlight some things and make some things stand out. So this leaf here, you see how it's blending into this leaf? I'm going to see if we can't fix that a little bit. There, just that little bit helped. Wish the camera was not blurry, but do you see how that made that stand out a little bit against the leaf behind it? I'm going to define these a little bit. There's a vein. Little dab will do ya. Looks nice. See, I just kind of do it as I go. I know some people have mapped out in their mind exactly what they're going to do before they do it. Mine is largely trial and error, but it usually works out. I think I just kind of have a mind for how to sort of picture things and figure out how it's going to look before I do it. I'm glad that I do have that, because trying to color without that particular natural ability would, I think, would make it more of a challenge. People sometimes ask me, how do I pick my colors? And I don't know how to answer that question, because I don't really pick them out ahead of time. I just sort of I'll look for what I think I need, and then I'll look at my box of pencils, and I'll think, yeah, that's probably what's going to work there. And then just do it. Can you see this clearly enough? Do you see how I'm accenting certain parts? To make them stand out? Adding a little line here and there. Try to give these leaves a little bit of texture. I'm going very light in certain areas with this darker green. Just a very, very light, very subtle. And then a little bit darker in other places. because in my mind's eye, I'm imagining that the sun is maybe up here somewhere and that the light is shining down at an angle this way. So I'm making the leaves a little darker where they would be away from the light a little more. Although I want to give a little bit of outline up here in the direction of the light, but I'm going to make it a little darker down here on the other side. Very light layers until it looks just the way you want it to look. There, that works. See, when I sit down to color on my own and I'm not doing this broadcast, I just do this. You see the difference? If I just sit down by myself and I'm just coloring just to color, don't worry about all the shading and detail, and I really just do whatever. I just flat color like a child. But I can do better, as you can see, when I apply myself, because my leaves are really quite looking very realistic. Now, if I was just coloring on my own, I wouldn't fuss with all of these little details, all the lines and accents and blending two different shades together. I wouldn't worry about any of this. But for the sake of doing a nice YouTube video and for the sake of having others enjoy what I'm doing. And I gotta say, I'm kind of glad that I got to doing this, because it does force me to develop a little bit more. the way you use your accents can change the appearance of the shape of the leaf. In other words, instead of it just being like a flat leaf, it sort of makes it look like a little bit of a curl, like a leaf would. You know, when you see a leaf out in the woods, it's not just laying flat. There are curls, there are ridges, there's texture to it. And so that's what you're trying to accomplish with your details that you put in, with your little accents. All right, I'm going to lift this up again and see if you can't get a... See how those leaves are turning out? Now, I could add a little bit of brown here and there, or a little bit of yellow. But I think for now, I'm just going to leave well enough alone. I may go back and touch those up a little bit with a third color. But I think for now, I'm just going to let that be. Those look pretty good the way they are. There it is. All right, now, as promised,